Hey everyone, it's Justine the Twilight Stamper, and today I'm bringing you my Tim Holtz tag for February 2015, and I'm really looking forward to making this with you today. How I started was I took a bunch of elements that went with Valentine's and showed some pinks, and I wanted some natural colors too, like the wood in that heart-shaped pattern paper, and I wanted to add a few Tim Holtz embellishments and lay them all out to create a collage. That was the first step in this month's tag. So I took my Mod Podge, and I don't actually have a brush that's appropriate to use for this because I ran out, but I just took a palette knife and I spread some Mod Podge onto my tag, and then I attached all of the pieces. When I finished gluing down all my layers, I added another layer of Mod Podge and let that dry. When it was all dried, I let that actually hand dry. I didn't use a heat gun for that. I used my Distress paint, the white picket fence, and this was the next step to the tag. And I used my fingers and I just wiped along the edges of those papers to give it sort of a shabby look. I ended up having to squeeze out a little bit more paint in the end for me to use because I'm kind of running out. And so I just did that and let that dry as well. I took one of my blending tools and I added some more Mod Podge onto the card. I wanted to create sort of a smooth card front to make this look like one sheet of paper. And I wanted to make sure that that was a smooth look, and it would be also easier to smudge the distress marker when I went in with the distress marker. So I just went in along all these edges here, and then I used my finger to smudge and give it more of a vintage look. When I was all finished, I added this metal accent. In the tutorial, they used a metal sticker, but I didn't have one. So I checked this metal accent here and I used that, and I did an outline of the marker around it, and I did a smudge just like I had done before on the card. I then glued down the accent using glossy accents here, and I just used a bunch of that, and it gives a really strong adhesive and a strong hold. The next step was to add some of these chit-chat words, and I had kind of contemplated what to put on here, and I started with wonderful possibility, and then I put genuine wonderful possibility. I grabbed some distress marker ink and I smudged that in. I took some more of the distress paint and smudged it onto my metal accent here that says Capture Life's Moments, and I ran my finger across it to get it into those letters and into those grooves. I didn't want it to be completely white. I wanted to give it more of a vintage sort of faded look, but in the end, once I wiped out all that paint, it gave it a really cool look. And I decided to attach that above the metal accent. I wanted to add a couple more accents onto this piece, so I took some rub-ons that I got in my Simon Says stamp card kit from February, and I used these rub-ons to accentuate the Valentine's Day February theme, the love theme, and just add a little something extra that made it look like it was maybe a part of the paper before, and I rubbed those on and really liked the way that that turned out. If you're interested in seeing my take for January 2015, I'll link that here in the corner, and that is my final project. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.